Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, we have to do a long-term update of the Fluval 407 canister filters that we have running in the 75-gallon aquariums here in the gallery. It's hard to believe. It has been a year and a half since we put these filters in, and as we always do, we do an initial unboxing and impressions, and then I wait, and I wait, and I wait until I have a proper amount of time to really assess how the equipment is doing. And I think a year and a half is a pretty good amount of time, so let's go take a closer look. Okay, so we've got the Fluval 407s, like I said, in both 75-gallon aquariums. You can see here, size-wise, they fit just fine in this 75-gallon stand, and they have been doing an awesome job of keeping these aquariums nice and tidy looking. Really wanted these because this is the gallery, and we have got a full-on live stream production going on here once a week. Plus, we film all these videos, and so the reason why I went canister filters in the gallery, I wanted the tanks to A, look really nice, and B, I wanted a nice, quiet, serene area, and that is exactly what we've got going on here. And so inside the aquarium, not too exciting. Here is the return. Only complaint, if there's any that I had, I wish that little gray piece was black and not gray, so it'd blend a little bit better. This intake over here is kind of covered in stuff, and so I need to, actually this filter I really should be cleaning out. In fact, I did a video on how to maintain canister filters, and I used the Fluval 407 as an example. Check out that video in the right hand corner if you want to see what that looks like and what that entails. Also, I will put the initial unboxing in the description below as well, and in the upper right hand corner, so you can see that, so you can really kind of see the internal workings of the Fluval 407. This is more just, okay, after 18 months, what do we think? Well, thing number one is this has got some really nice flow. Let me come over here, and we'll go over to the other 75-gallon, and so there's another Fluval 407 down there. And again, you can see the return over here, and you can see the flow. And again, the flow is quite strong. The intake is behind that area over there in that 3D background. But again, it's doing a great job of keeping the water clear. And that is really what I wanted, because any filter type, I don't care if it's a single sponge filter, it's going to be sufficient to do the biological filtration. And by the way, just recently did a video on the differences between biological, chemical, and mechanical filtration. Check that video out in the upper right-hand corner, because that's a really important one if you want to know the important basics of filtration in general. And so I love the fact that it's quiet. I love the fact that it is doing an awesome job of mechanical filtration. It is a relatively easy filter, like I said, to maintain. Check out that video that I've got in the description if you want to see how easy it is to maintain the filter. Check out this picture here. This is just directly from the Fluval website. The number of trays that you have. There's a big debate a lot of times as to whether or not the Fluval 407 is sufficient for a 75-gallon aquarium, especially a cichlid tank. And I'm here to tell you I think it is. I don't think there's any need to go to the FX series of the Fluval canisters in a 75-gallon aquarium, regardless of what you have. Here, this is a community tank. I got a lot of barbs, but these are heavy eaters, right? So I got some barbs in here. You can see some gobies. I did a full gallery tour not that long ago. I'll put that in the upper right-hand corner for you to check out as well if you'd like. But it's worked out really well there. But then for those people who are like, oh, I've got a cichlid tank and the Fluval 407 is not going to be sufficient. Well, there you go. There's your cichlid tank. I don't want to get too close because they're all kind of out and about. Let me go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to do this very unprofessionally. Just kind of zoom on in. And then you can see there's tons of Mbuna in here. I've got like 20 yellow labs and Pseudotrophia solose, along with about 15 Buenos Aires tetras and a few bristlenose plecos. Water looks good to me, and it has been doing an awesome job. And so when I set up these canister filters, what I did is I actually used quite a bit of filter floss. I used the sponge that came with the Fluval 407s, and then I had a couple of trays that just had cut up sponge filter from previously cycled tanks, just so that I didn't wind up with an ammonia spike when I first set these things up. Sorry for the messy sink, you're getting real life here, but I wanted to just show you the trays here. Comes with 4 trays. You also get this kind of almost like a pre-filter, a lot of media, so that all came with it. And then as I pull these trays off, I had some filter floss, some more filter floss, some sponge in here, and then we've got some sponge down here. This sponge under here came with the filter, so lots of room for media. They're pumping out about 380 83 gallons per hour. So that's a lot of flow. Again, for a 75 gallon, that is more than sufficient. You're getting at least a 4 times turnover. Really, you're getting about a 5 times turnover per hour. So that's pretty darn good. And then the cost right now is right around 220 bucks. That's on Amazon. I'll have an Amazon affiliate link down in the description below if you want to try these guys out. You know, when you think about it, with the 75 gallon, what I've often said when it comes to hang on back filters and heaters and things like that is with a 4-foot tank, if you're going to hang on back, I really prefer to have 2 hang on back filters on a 4-foot tank just to maximize water flow. But with a canister filter, the advantage there is you just need this one. And so price wise, it starts getting pretty close. If you're going to throw a couple of Seachem 75s or AquaClear 70s on this tank, you're not spending that much more money for the Fluval 407, and you're going to get way better mechanical filtration. You're going to get a quieter filter. Now, downside is it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome to maintain, but it's not drastically so. And by the way, let me go ahead and turn this light back on so you can actually see the filter again. This is a really easy filter when it comes to just the maintenance side of things. You've got this, you unplug it, and then this lever here just kind of pops up. These pieces come right off. You can pull the actual canister part out. And then actually restarting this is the pump right here. You just keep pressing this down and pumping that to get it to reset after you turn it back on. Never had an issue getting these filters restarted, and so it's been a really easy filter to maintain. So overall, the filter, yeah, I'm a fan. I do like the Fluval 407s. I'm glad I went with them in the 75 gallons. 100% would I do it again? Absolutely, just because they have been workhorses. So definitely, if you want to get more information on the actual filter, how to set it up and all that stuff, check out the video in the upper right-hand corner right there, and I go through a full-on explanation there. And then if you want another option, the Owaza Biomasters have been pretty good on these 125s and on the 50-gallon lowboy. That video will be in the lower right-hand corner. As always, appreciate you being here. We'll see you in the next one.